Mikey, have you ever genuinely thought about quitting the profession of teaching?
Oh, man.
But 99 plus sits down there on your toolbar, and that's when you know you have a banger. Like waking up to a 99 plus is dope, but like refreshing, doing something else for 5 minutes, and then going back, and it's at 99 plus is like...
Here it is. This is the moment you're cooked, okay?
Yes.
It's like no amount of redemption, apology, explanation will bring you back from that moment. You are perpetually cooked.
I have a pelt of like I'm a man, and so they had to like shave these like spots off of me.
I think one of the biggest things that I will always try and do is like give a kid an apology, be like, hey, like I'm so sorry that I took out this energy on you. You did not deserve it. Okay, well, obviously you didn't.
She saw me at the grocery store. She said, I follow you. She grabbed a handful of my ass and then walked away looking at me while my kids are like getting barbecue chips off the aisle.
You can't say these things because they're going to go in the cold open of the video. Welcome back, guys, to the Type C Teachers Podcast. I rearranged some stuff. Hopefully the noise gate is working. I've been messing around. We're trying to get professional in this joint. As I've said in some of my videos, the fresh in my name stands for professional, and that's what we do. We bring that over to the Type C Teachers Podcast. Today we're talking all about cooking, and not the cooking you're thinking of, the colloquial term cooking, the one that the kids are using nowadays. Like when it is a couple of different, we'll get into it in just a sec. You'll just keep watching or listening or whatever, where you're at right now. If you're not on the road doing something dangerous, pause for a second, do me a favor, hit the follow, like, subscribe, whatever it is, to show that you appreciate this podcast, appreciate us yapping for a little bit. We would really appreciate that. But without further ado, let's get on to this conversation about cooking. All right, welcome, chat. We are here talking about cooking. This is a cooking show now.
I shouldn't say, I don't know why I tried to take credit for that. Let's restart. My wife made chicken pot pies, and I just had one like 45 minutes ago, and it was delightful. So yes, it's a cooking show now.
I love that. Was it homemade?
Oh yeah, that's what my wife can cook. She's incredible. She is slumming it with me.
Oh, love that. Jealous. So jealous.
I make podcasts. She makes supper.
She makes chicken podcast pies. Oh, that would be
That's
such
exactly what it is. I am thrilled about this week because Type C teachers, and the C is for cooked, which, by the way, that Type C and the C is for is a Wheezy F and the F is for whatever, because did you see the Carter 6 comes out in like a month?
What? I'm not a big Lil Wayne fan, but I'll give that a little listen.
Yeah, I'm thrilled. There's always a couple of songs on the Carters that are good, and then you just kind of wait around for the next mixtape. But I'm pumped. I'm looking forward to it because he's been destroying guest features lately. But that's really the only thing getting me through. Because if Type C is for cooked, I'm not going to lie. This week has been one of the longest months of my life. I am way over it. It snowed today. And that doesn't mean this is going to be low energy or anything. It just means that all of the energy that I have, I've been basically saving so I can talk to you.
I think we also need to clarify, it snowed today, and it is April 3rd as of recording. What?
It was snowing so hard while I was at school. Like, it didn't accumulate or anything, but it's supposed to go on again through the night. I don't know. Colorado.
But
the C's for cooked because we're feeling it this time of year. And I think that's an important one to talk about because we can make that C for catharsis too. Because I kind of just want to bitch a little bit, but like not like non-specifically. I'm just like mildly grumpy. That's about the most I get.
Yeah, I would say I'm right there with you. We are cooked to an even temperature right now. You could stick one of those meat thermometers in us and it would read 69 or something. I don't know. What's a good temperature?
Let me tell you, 69, nice. It would read a lot hotter than that because on Monday, I don't know if I told you about this. On Monday, I went into my classroom. Okay, I go in the morning, bright and early. Feels fine, no problem. I go and teach in my lecture hall. So that's my class where I teach like 60-something students all at once, okay? I come back to my classroom, I touch the door handle and it's hot. It is hot to the touch. Like, stop, drop, and roll.
Yeah.
I open the door. It is 89 degrees in my classroom. Fahrenheit. 89 degrees. I can't teach in there all day long. I can't teach in my classroom because the heat will not shut off, and it's only my room. I go to another room, and the Wi-Fi goes out in the building. In my SAT prep class that is online. That's how the week started. Like, so when we say cooked, it is literal. I was a hot, hairy man.
That's what I read on your comment section, by the way. It's not me. I'm not making spam accounts or anything.
I don't know if this guy listens or not, but did you see the one where I was wearing a hoodie and he goes, "How long have you?" This guy goes, "How long have you had that hoodie? Can I have it?"
And you said, "Yes, adoring fan."
It's available on the Patreon.
It's available.
That one made me laugh. I thought that one was funny.
That's so awesome. Okay, let's talk about being cooked. Oh no, my air just went off. Can you hear my air?
Your air? No,
Yeah.
not at all.
Oh man, the noise gate's working. I love it.
Yeah, I did not hear any kind of shift at all.
Okay. Perfect. All right. Cooked. And this goes along with, we've had private conversations about the low-hanging fruit of teacher content. There's plenty of teachers out there who are slapping together compilations of like, hey, let's say this Gen Z slang thing. What are your kids saying? And the parents are like, oh, that's so silly. We're doing that today because we're talking about being cooked.
Look, there's certain pieces of like current generation jargon that is so much more expressive than the words that we have to express those same things. And I think the idea of not just being done, right, if we want to get linguistic about it, but of being like cooked, because that means I was prepared by someone else. Like there was an outside party that was in control of this. And I think that is the most accurate depiction of how I feel right now. Like this isn't just me. I feel like I am just a byproduct of circumstances at this point. It's cooked. It's the best word. I'm going to keep on going back to it to sound redundant. I don't know what else to do.
Yeah, and it's so funny. I love this word in the zeitgeist. Love being able to say that in every conversation. Zeitgeist. Top 10 English words out there.
Yeah, that's great.
Well, like you change it a little bit, it has a completely different meaning because like if you're cooking or let him cook, it's like, oh, good thing. Great. Let that guy cook. But if you're cooked, it's like, oh, dude, cut him off. He's done. Put the fries in the bag. Gotta squeeze in all those.
But then if you tell somebody to put the fries in the bag, you are cooking them because it's also become synonymous with being roasted. And so it's with all of those that we have accidentally stumbled upon a really solid topic for a podcast.
Right.
This bad boy has layers. Much like my pot pie.
Like your pot pie. Pot pie is so dangerous. Like, if I ever make it and then I have leftovers and I bring it to work, you can't eat it for lunch, or else you just because you get sleepy. You'll take a nap.
Yes. Yeah. I mean,
it's a perfect dinner for that reason. But lunch, it's like that's the danger zone, man. Don't chicken pot pie for lunch.
Couldn't agree more.
You're cooking yourself.
Yeah. Whatever. I'll probably do it anyway and just sleep through my last class. It's young adult novel anyway. They can just read The Hunger Games out loud to me while I lay on a desk. Tell me why. So we make a list of these topics that we have seen on the internet, and tell me why you put Mr. Trayvon and his Chromebooks are cooking kids on there. Because if you don't know, Mr. Trayvon he calls himself an edufluencer, but he has a decent amount of followers. It's more than me, less than you. He's somewhere in there, and he's talking about how we need to have we need to have computer labs. Oh my god, I didn't even think of them.
Yeah, because they've been gone so long. No one has computer labs anymore.
We need to bring back computer labs and get rid of Chromebooks. At the elementary level, middle school and high school is the exception. At the elementary school level, they don't need Chromebooks. They're kindergarten classes with Chromebooks. Why do kindergarten students need Chromebooks? Because kindergarten students barely have the motor skills. A lot of kindergarten students can't even hold a pencil correctly when they first get into kindergarten. And then even older elementary students, they don't need Chromebooks like that. And if they need computer access, why don't we bring them to a computer lab during a scheduled time? And older elementary, they don't need Chromebooks. Just bring them to the computer lab at a designated time because the stuff they learn in a computer lab on an actual computer compared to a Chromebook is a lot more valuable. Microsoft Word, PowerPoint, Excel, all those. Because as I see it today, kids have a little bit too much screen time in school and at home. I'm all for educational technology and students being computer literate. And by computer literate, I mean behind an actual computer in a computer lab compared to a little old Chromebook, because computer literacy on a Chromebook is not something that's actually truly achievable. So elementary, especially kindergarten to second grade, I don't know why they thought it was a good idea to put Chromebooks in those classes. Because kids are not learning what they really need to learn to be computer literate. They have way too much screen time. Their attention spans are decreasing more and more. We need to bring back those computer labs, and we need to get rid of those Chromebooks.
Yeah,
So what inspired you about this?
Everything about the problems we face daily in class, having a set of Chromebooks. It's so weird because when we were kids, or when I was a kid, the opportunity to go to the computer lab and mess around on the computer after we did our work, or like it motivated me to do my work, first of all, to do my keyboarding and to do my research papers, whatever it was doing, so that I could like do my own thing with this incredible device. Not to sound like old and boomery, but it's like I loved and treasured this time, and now there's like kids who are taking Chromebooks and throwing them against the wall. It's like, oh my god, like
Right.
What a sick tool to have that you don't like use. That's just my personal like grievance against this issue, but he goes into a lot more details. But yeah.
Well, and so again, because there's quite an age gap between us, young man, I was taking my classes to the computer lab, and I was doing that for the first several years of my teaching, where we had to go in there to use those. You had to go in there to print things because everything had to be printed. It's not like you were emailing them, right? And so I remember that experience and how fun it was when they were done to be able to play whatever that version of Type Racer was, or cool math games, which has been like just the pillar of consistency, cool math games. All of my students have iPads. Every one of them. They have a brand new iPad. Every 4 years, they get a brand new iPad. And they didn't used to give them away in elementary school until COVID.
Mm-hmm.
And then, because they always stayed at school. And then after COVID, those started going home. I would give anything for my students to only have Chromebooks.
Really?
Anything. I would rather. Look, the iPad has one function that I love. It's called Notability, and it gives you that option to like just annotate on things. And I am such a huge fan of Notability. I also do enjoy the camera and the video editing, right? So maybe those are two. I don't want to understate the luxury there, but I think if we do like a cost benefit analysis here, I think the cost of the distraction of the iPads is so high. Like it's really, really high.
Because
even if I have
on the
my students,
iPads,
you can do anything. They have the App Store.
oh, they're not locked down?
No.
What? That's ridiculous.
They have all sorts of stuff on there.
Well, yeah, that's gonna be.
Yeah, doesn't that sound like a problem? Doesn't it? Didn't you come up with that solution pretty fast? Didn't you?
Yeah. Okay, I can see
Yeah.
why. Yeah, y'all are cooked, man. What the F?
That's right. It's a lot of Brawl Stars, man. I am up on the current games all the time. But it's with that, man, I would give anything for Chromebooks. And so I think I watched his video, and I love the way that guy talks, by the way. Like, I can just kind of listen.
He's got
for a
such a
while.
great cadence. I listen and
Yes.
watch every single video whenever he comes up on my page.
Well, and there's some people that go through the same motion when they talk every time they edit. And so like every time they stop, they like go back to start. And then by the end of it, they're over here. And then they go back. And then you know what I mean? They like go, he does that. He like kind of travels across the screen. It's, I don't know, like a visual melody. But I kind of want to make a post about Chromebooks now. I really do.
Yeah.
Because I would give anything for a Chromebook.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, going back to the topic, he was specifically frustrated about Chromebooks for the same reason you're kind of frustrated with iPads. It's just these kids, they're just kind of, well, not these kids. I don't want to generalize anything. It's always a dangerous thing. But there have been patterns of kids who essentially just like bang their hands against the keyboard in order to, until they reach the right set. It's like, you know how a monkey typewriter analogy works? Like enough monkeys, do a typewriter, they eventually do the task that they're supposed to do. It's kind of like that. They're not doing anything productive. There are just so many ways of bypassing the utilization of the tool itself. And he's advocating, I think he teaches primary school, that especially those younger grades, they have no utility in kindergarten, first grade, second grade, because these kids, they need to learn phonics and letters and all that before moving on to using this tool. I'm probably butchering his explanation.
Well, I don't. Here's what I know though: is I know that because my daughters had iPads, right? They were able to do incredible work on Nearpod and all sorts of things where they were learning phonics, and that's what they were working on there. And at the elementary level, of course, I think the liability is too large. Those are super shut down. And so they would go on to Nearpod and they could do it, and they could like record little voice memos for their teacher, and it would get uploaded to this platform, and then I could go and listen to it. Where my daughter would be like, "Hi, Miss Small," and like you'd hear her talking to her teacher as she was like going through her little slides that she made where she was reading the words. And like, I don't think that could be simulated quite as well with pen and paper. And so maybe he's right. Like the Chromebooks are the issue because iPads might be the answer at that age. Because I'm telling you, like, and I know if anybody ever listens to this and they're like, "Oh, he's endorsing iPad kids," you know what? I might be.
Oh,
Like, and that's not a hot take, but like, dude, this is incredible what they can do. And then if they're going elsewhere and that is something that they're abusing, like, oh, I don't know, they have a problem with it at home, that's not really like Mr. Rupp's thing. That might be somebody else's.
Yeah.
Like not me. Like the people they live with.
Yeah. Yeah.
So maybe that's the issue that I have there, because my daughter's got a hell of an education on an iPad.
Hey, it's okay to disagree, I guess. I told you that I listened to all these back, and I'm like, I totally disagree with everything I said there. This
Really?
might be one of those instances. Yeah.
I think that's why the conversation needs to happen, though. I made my post today. You should go and watch it. I made my TikTok today, and it was about the idea of being wrong, right? And that it's okay to be wrong. You just, because tomorrow can be better, but if tomorrow is never better, then like you're making mistakes all of the time. And I was so bad at this job when I first started and so nervous and insecure. So being able to change that in myself and recognize like, man, I can't assume that everything I'm doing is correct. I can't. I got to be willing to change it and hear people out.
And now you're no longer insecure. You're perfect in every way.
I've gone past the insecure, but like insecure is like I'm afraid I'm wrong, and now I just know and like I think I've just hit acceptance. That's really what it is. I've hit acceptance. Like, all right, I'm just going to assume that this is the best I can be right now, and we will just keep on getting better. And in 5 years, I bet my classroom looks nothing like it does now. I think that's good.
I think that's good as well. Yeah. Oh man, 7 years ago, that was like my second year teaching. That was my worst year teaching. I always say the second year is the worst year. Do you have a worst year of teaching?
The one I did middle school. And when I say worst, I don't mean that I don't blame the kids. It's not that. I don't have, after teaching high school for 6 or 7 years, I was in a middle school for 1. I had never done it. I was ill-equipped. I don't think my tone landed. I don't think I was familiar enough with that age group to be successful. I taught 8th grade. I don't think I was familiar enough with that group. I wasn't familiar enough at that point. Here's what I said. I said, if these grades don't count, how do I motivate them? And dude, that's one of the things where I look back and it's like, man, I thought I was so right. It's like, there's other ways. There's like, well, if it doesn't count, then what's it matter? And it's like, well, what does count actually mean? I had this set definition and I was wrong about it. That was absolutely my worst. And maybe one of the years right after that where my daughter was really young and I was really tired. I don't think I was able to like give my all because I wasn't sleeping at night.
Yeah. Huh.
How about you? That second year was it, huh?
Yeah, that second year was it for me. And it was a mix between like that's probably my third year being married, or like 2.5, second half. I think it was my second year being married. We were just figuring life out. And as well, I just had like like I don't know, it was an inner city school. I was my first official position, and shout outs to inner city schools. It's just like it's a lot to just jump into when you're
Mhm.
when you didn't grow up in that environment. Like I'm not afraid to admit that I was raised around people who look exactly like me and had a similar income just like me and only spoke one language, and then I get into this environment and it's like everything I ever wanted to with the desire to invest in. It's just this is a lot. I'm overstimulated. I'm not sleeping. I'm contacting parents left and right, thinking there's a lot of behavior problems. I'm like sobbing in IEP meetings because I'm finding out that so and so's mom is a drug addict and she was high when she came into this meeting, and I'm like, oh my god, there's so many things going on. And then
Wow.
because that's just the second year, it's like, okay, the third year, yeah, I'm just gonna see the same things. I'm not gonna get any worse than this.
Look, and those kinds of things, like maybe I sound like an old man. I kind of don't give a shit. Like that's hard for young people.
Yeah.
Like when you go into education, you see it as being the thing that you remember feeling like when you were a student in that class. It probably wasn't even what it was actually like, by the way. You're just trusting the memories of a 16-year-old telling you a story a bunch of years later.
Yeah.
And so then you go into that setting and it is so jarring that it's like that. Do you know that thing where mainly Asian tourists go and to see Paris and the Eiffel Tower, and they're so let down by it that it causes like this massive depression and puts them in shock? Do you know the thing I'm talking about?
No, I've
It's
never
called,
heard of this.
okay, but they think that it's going to be the world's most romantic place, and that's going to be just this beauteous, magical thing. It's specifically Asian tourists, and it's specifically the Eiffel Tower, and like they have a specialized treatment for the shock that comes from the letdown of that, and that's kind of what you just sort of described. Like you think you're going to be in there, like I see these teachers that are like the teachers that inspired me post, and it's like Robin Williams on a damn desk. It's like, man, that is not
That's
it. I think it's just as valuable, but it's not that.
yeah.
Like we have multiple classes first of all. It's not just like the same 20 kids.
I think it's also a big culture shock, and I've thought about this. I don't know if I've explained it to you, but like every coworker I've ever had, I've asked them like one question just to kind of gauge where they're at. Like, were you gifted and talented in elementary school, middle school, high school? And they're always like, yes, I was. Maybe I just haven't hit a wide set of people yet, and maybe you're making that face because you weren't. But
no, that's a great question. I wasn't, but that's a great question.
But it's like I see all these teachers, my coworkers, so overwhelmed. And it was like you were never in a class where behavior was a problem. Where you were never in a class where people didn't have a desire to learn. And I'm like, this has always existed on some level. It's just you were kind of sheltered from it in a sense. And I feel like contextualizing that reality sometimes helps them or helps me. I don't know. That yeah, there's chaotic places in the world, and you might have been sheltered a little bit.
Okay, so so we have the culture shock. We have the idea that teachers get into it thinking it's going to be the experience. And let's not forget that, like, you can then create an experience that might be similar to the one that you remember, but that is not it. Like I mentioned, for instance, that I run a young adult novel class, and there's people in the comments. They're like, "I would love to teach that class, and we could just talk about books." And it's like you think that's like I just open it and then I read a page, and then we're like, "Oh God, I appreciate this." Like there's it's 90 minutes. You think I could do that for 90 minutes 45 times? No, we got layers to this. But if you want to just think of like, oh, I loved Of Mice and Men. Okay, well, Of Mice and Men is like 100 pages long. Yeah, also the fuck's wrong with you? Yeah.
Oh my God.
Like, look at,
I mean,
right? What was your favorite part? Look across the river? Like, stop it.
What is he? I see the bunnies, Lenny. I see the bunnies, George. I don't know.
Here we go. It did shut off. Give me a second.
Well, I didn't hear a difference, so maybe it wasn't even connected in the first place.
Well, it was for a while, but I think it might have turned off since.
Gotcha.
We'll
Postpone.
see if we can connect this one.
Cooked your microphone.
Hooked it. I don't understand how these things work. I think the other one's had it on. Well, let's just see if it even has any juice here.
Oh.
Okay, that was solid. Yeah.
And the little butt part is plugged into the iPhone?
Yes, that part's good.
Yeah.
But that's how I noticed it, because that part started blinking. I can see it sitting here.
Gotcha.
It's just so hard. Does this thing go on? I'm an idiot.
Well, it's weird.
I'm
I feel
sorry.
like I should be hearing feedback from that. Like if you're rubbing
So
around on it.
You don't hear anything?
I don't hear anything.
Oh, no? That didn't do anything?
No, that's in.
It says it's on.
Okay. Well, I don't know. Maybe it's just that good.
Honestly, maybe it's just for effect, and that's fine.
Hey, I'm fine with it.
I feel like I'm on a podcast in it.
I promised myself when I turned 40, I wouldn't do it, but I'm on a podcast.
Right? Did you like that? I worked really hard on trying to advertise this for everybody, and I made so many versions of it, and I don't know how to separate this, but I'll try to explain it. I really like these conversations that we are having, and I think there's people out there that can get a lot out of chunks of them or all of them. I think it's very easy to listen to. I'm proud of the product is what I'm saying. I'm also embarrassed that I make a podcast. Because in my head I've talked so much shit about like another white guy with a podcast, and I look like all of them, and like, so in that capacity I wanted to like, I don't know. I found myself being corny while I was trying to talk about it. Like, no, it's not like other podcasts. And it's like, I can't say that.
Yeah.
Because that's what everybody thinks. It's like millennial restaurants. Like, we were just two guys with a crazy idea.
Hey, to be cringe is to be free. That's my favorite.
I couldn't agree more. And so, yeah, I worked really hard on that.
Yeah.
But that, honestly, that's kind of part of my frustration. That's a good representation of where this week has been going for me in terms of just when we talk about that idea of feeling cooked. Like, this week has just taken a ton out of me, and I'm seeing it on the internet. I'm seeing it on my FYP with teachers that are just like really, really down on their kids or their job or any of it. I don't know how those people have jobs.
Or why they decide to work in education in the first place. Oh, well, maybe, it's because of romanticization of an experience they had in some grade. Or it's some sort of feeling of being stuck. But yeah, I see the same thing. It's that time of year. But is there really a time of year when that's happening? I feel like it's happening all the time.
Look, maybe I'm not really feeling it because I'm in Colorado, and then, like we said before, it's snowing, or it might be snowing again, but it's like that. Once the sun comes out and we are in a post-spring break setting, there is definitely a change in energy. Like, my school's doing Senior Assassin right now, so you have the seniors that are just going hog wild. You have SATs coming up, so like the most stressed people in the world in any given April and May, like, think about high school juniors. Like that, they are the most stressed people on earth in April and May of every year. So you have that going on. You have like 9th and 10th graders who, I don't know, are starting to feel the burn. And so, yeah, the kids are just kind of on their way out too, but we got a bunch of stuff to do. Like, their time of least focus is the time with the most responsibility.
Yeah.
That's tough to balance. I get the frustration.
Can we please postpone spring break until like Easter?
When I was in Arizona, it was modified year round. So every 9 weeks, they got 2 weeks off and then a 6-week summer. And it was the best schedule any person could ever have. I loved it. I loved
some private schools that have done that before, and I've heard really good things.
Well, because they have to do it like, just, I don't know, not all these kids can, like, AC is expensive, man. And like feeding your kids is expensive. And I was in, like a pretty metropolitan area within Arizona, and it was like, man, we got to get these kids back in the building. So God, I love that though. But I'm watching these teachers, and there's a guy, I made a post about him. And if anybody's interested, you can go look because it wasn't a viral post. I didn't stitch him. I wasn't trying to dunk on this guy. But he was talking about how his students, like, I sent you the video, talking about how all his students leave their bags in his class and then they leave and they're supposed to get their stuff out. But then they come knocking on his door because they forgot it and it's during lunch. And who knows the circumstance? Maybe they're using it as some bullshit excuse to get out of class. Like, who knows? I don't know because he doesn't explain it.
Mhm.
So what he does explain, though, what he does take pride in is he like laughs at these kids who are trying to get something out of their bag and he like waves at them. That post made me mad. Like, that's a brutal, and he was so happy about it and made these follow-up posts about it too, where he was just like, guess what? Today they remembered. Hey, how about I don't know. It was the end of March, so clearly they maybe also remembered for 6 months in a row. So maybe it was in fact a genuine mistake, huh? Like, could it have been that, or did you get 40,000 views and now you're feeling it? Because that makes me irate. I don't know.
Virality is such a drug, dude. Just like if I say the wrong thing or the right thing the wrong way, I don't know, the wrong thing the right way, however it goes, it's just it's like give me the sweet viral juice. I'm gonna keep doing this thing until I'm gonna keep leeching off of it because it gives me those sweet comments and views.
I don't know if anybody's ever. I can't imagine this is truly an original idea, but the dopamine rush that people talk about when like they're just scrolling through their feed, right? And like it's always something new, and so like that's your hit of dopamine. Take that. I'm going to go ahead and call that like the Nicorette gum of dopamine rushes. And if you want like actual like ecstasy, then it's when you refresh your notifications and it's like 1,500 new likes 1 minute ago. Like,
nice.
You know what I mean?
It's so nice.
These many people shared it. Ooh, they have a blue check. Like,
man.
Like, and you're looking at it like every time it's just 99 plus, 99
Dude,
plus.
99 plus is such a good feeling. Oh, I hate it. I hate how much I love it so much.
There's nothing I hate more. If you don't know what we're talking about, if you've never experienced it, God, I hope you get it there. I hope if that's what you want, I hope you get it at least once. 99 plus is what happens to your notifications because they max out. They don't go into triple digits. It's not like your email. They stop acknowledging that it's over 99. But 99 plus sits down there on your toolbar, and that's when you know you have a banger. Like waking up to a 99 plus is dope, but like refreshing, doing something else for 5 minutes, and then going back, and it's at 99 plus is like, I'm one of the most famous people in the world. It's me.
So nice. Oh man.
My wife doesn't even know. She doesn't even know.
She doesn't know who she's sleeping next to and who's waking up next to her at 5 a.m.
Right. We're over here watching an episode of The Closer from 2009. She has no idea that I'm one of the most famous people on this planet. 99 plus is intoxicating. And so I get it, right? With that being said, that if you've never had any sort of that, then maybe you start to look past, especially if people are agreeing in the comments, you start to look past like if you just write it down and read it out loud, like, man, you sound like an asshole. Like, I don't know that you are one. But right now in this moment that you curated, whew.
Sounds a little
I don't know.
bit
People
rough.
in the comments agreed with. No, I could be wrong. I've been wrong before. People in the comments are like, "Yeah, no, teachers get this." Man, I guess there's one that doesn't. I don't, and I'm not. I don't think I'm actually that unique. But
yeah, I'm all about natural consequences in a sense.
I agree.
But the natural consequence, I suppose, would be I'm not in my telling my students, hey, I go to the teacher's lounge for lunch. If you leave your stuff in here, I'm not coming back to open it up. And I think that's a fair way to kind of reassess the situation. But yeah, kind of posting, hey guys, I just smile and wave at them, and they go without their lunch for that day. I'm like, oh my god, why would you post that? Every
there's a key.
mom will tell you something how that's wrong.
There's a really important difference between what you just said, though, right? Because one of them is just a very clear boundary. Like, I'm not in my room, I'm not near it. It's not going to happen. That is a boundary that you have set. The difference between that and seeing the kid through the window, which even then you have the boundary, go away, go away. Okay, fine. Like, even that's different, right? But to laugh at them, yo, that's not. Nope, 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 nope. That's where you're being cruel. You are. That is cruel.
And
that's different.
Let's get back to the topic. It's like, okay, here it is. This is the moment you're cooked. Okay,
Yes.
It's like no amount of redemption, apology, explanation will bring you back from that moment. You are perpetually cooked. Everyone just saw that video. Maybe a fifth of them, if it hit some sort of viral, saw the follow-up video. Don't expect to be able to uncook yourself.
There's no there's no post that I know that is just not gonna hit. Like a post where it's like, hey, some of you guys saw my last video where no one's watching that. Nope, because they didn't. They didn't see my last video. It doesn't work. You can't build that storyline unless you have something that is crazy compelling. Like when I found that checkbook, I had a storyline. The algorithm was friendly. I made 2 follow-ups. They both hit 1 million. Like, that's a different sort of thing. Have you, by the way, followed the group chat girl?
No. What is this?
She plays all the parts of these different girls in a group chat, and one of the girls in the group chat wants to bring her friend to the girls' dinner that they were going to have. It is so far a 3-part series. It's art. It is art. You have to watch it. Oh my god, I want her on here. They're amazing. I'll send you them. I'm so invested.
Just one person?
Yes,
okay,
it's just her.
Okay, it's just the one act.
I am so invested in the storyline. Like you'll see. I can't wait to send this to you. But okay.
But her follow-up videos are garnering just as much attention. Is that kind of the way you're going?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yes, that's the story. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you for getting me back on track. But that's a storyline, right? That is a compelling narrative that people are engaged with. They're going to keep on coming back, mainly because the comments are also building that to the algorithm. Like, I will absolutely die if I do not get a part 4. Like, it's building up. You're looking at the series. It's the same thing with that kid that's making all the damn LeBron songs.
Yeah. Or I'm glad I got to get back to this. The topic I told you about, which was the mantis shrimp girl, I
don't know who this is.
Oh, it's so great. It's so great. It's like this girl, she's like, I can draw anything in 60 seconds. And then she reads a comment and it's like, draw a mantis shrimp. And she's like, okay, set a timer. And she sets a timer. She draws a shrimp it's like, draw a mantis shrimp holding an umbrella or something. So she draws it. And then everyone in her comment section is just like, that's a regular shrimp. That's not a mantis shrimp. Like thousands upon thousands of comments. And guess what? She made a follow-up video that was just as popular. It's like, and you know what she did? She drew that mantis shrimp. And
it's the same thing with now we're just talking about TikToks, but I do have one more. Did you see the girl who thought that she bought the painting of the beautiful mermaid?
No.
And it was like, it was
so
very clear. It was very clearly an elephant. It was just an elephant, like 100%. And like she thought the tusks were her hair, and it's like nobody sees what you see. And she made so many follow-up videos. She's like, no, it's right here. It is right here. It's like, how are these all getting so many views? This is outrageous. I love it.
Yeah.
But okay, so to bring it back, I understand that it's a frustrating time, but do you really want your face? Because it's always this. Do you really want your face right here with text over the top of you talking shit about 13-year-olds? Do you want that screenshot? Think of, because I don't know if you've had it, but I've been on the news. And when they post that screenshot, it's always all blurry, and then there's the text over the top. There's no coming back from that. You have to make sure that you are okay with those words. You are captioning your mugshot. You have to be okay with that.
At this point, there's the trope about like when I was graduating college, and they were like, hey, make sure to take all of your pictures off social media where you're like skimpy dressed or you're like partying in college, because the principals will look at that. Which one do you think would be more damaging? A video like that, or maybe there's no even competition, or like those like skimpy photos, those photos that could get you in trouble?
God, I I would okay. I would rather somebody saw me being a human being,
Hmm.
right? If I am, and obviously, like the skimpiness isn't really a thing, but let's go the other. Like, let's look at it like I would rather somebody saw me, a picture of me in Vegas, like if I was a couple of shots deep. I would rather that picture was something my boss saw than me in a video where I'm lip syncing about some kind of sound that makes my kids seem like they're dumb, or that I hate professional development. I don't know why people make those, or like whatever it is. I would I'm an adult man who drinks beers. Okay, that's allowed. You can't do anything about that. But I'm an adult. I'm a teacher who, in my classroom, speaks ill of the profession. Seems like I don't believe in it. And yeah, no, I don't. Whatever. I'd rather be loaded on camera. Right? Would you?
No, I, especially now that you put it that way, yes. I'm just trying to get to the point of like where you might want to test this theory out, like dress or undress, in the appropriate ways. Feed into your TikTok comment section a little bit. Give them a little, a little,
Start just like put. I'm not gonna lie.
me by the
Whenever I'm by the
poolside, okay. Hey, chat, what's going on?
Here's how I know that I'm doing that right, by the way, because obviously this account is made for very public consumption. So much so that I think there's plenty of people out there that don't want to see me on their screens, but they can't get away from me. And so it's with that I made a post at the public pool last summer where I was like, lifeguards don't get the respect that they deserve. And I made out because really the audience, I'm like, these kids are like 16 years old and they're raising your children right now. And I was at the pool. I wasn't wearing a shirt, but I made sure that I was like, you could see my shoulders and then nothing else. And like on some of it, I zoom in just to make sure that you don't see any of the Rupp torso. And I knew I did it right because all of these teenage lifeguards were in the comments and they weren't like, okay, creepy guy in aviator glasses. They were like, they were talking about being a lifeguard. I wasn't weird. And that post, it went wild. It did like a couple mil, made some good money too. But like the thing I really appreciated was that teenagers went into the comments section and they weren't like, this guy's weird.
Yeah.
That's how I felt. So like that, I'm okay with that. Go ahead and look at it, my boss. Like that's fine. You look at all of these. That's fine.
I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry, Rupp's comment section. I keep trying to drag him into this. He's not falling for it.
Look, I will. I don't know. I'll get there. There's honestly, eventually,
that's on the Patreon, guys.
I have this picture that I've always wanted to post because it's so funny. There was like a moment I was honest. Maybe it's not funny, but I was like having panic attacks, and I kind of thought I was dying, and it was happening for a few days in a row, and my heartbeat felt irregular, so much so that like they gave me an EKG where they have to stick the things to you, right? Which means I have a pelt of like I'm a man, and so they had to like shave these like spots off of me like a fucking man-o-lantern, and it is just the patchiest work ever. And I took a picture of it because it's so surreal. Like I know it would do numbers. I don't, but it wouldn't make any money because it's still just a picture. But like, I think about that. It would be TikTok gold, but I'd be standing there shirtless, which is fuck.
I can't. I'm done. The podcast is over, guys.
Look, middle age comes at you fast, Mikey. I don't know if you think you're gonna dodge these bullets, but you're not.
We'll see. We'll see if we dodge these bullets. Okay. How else are we cooked? So
Do you find yourself being short with your kids, just like in front of them? So not just on the internet, but like
Nah,
in.
dude, I'm 6'7". Sorry, that was
I I'm gonna. Do you want to hear the biggest flex ever?
yeah.
I don't know what the hell that means. I never hear it. I don't hear that. I have never heard that in person in real life ever, aside from my daughter saying it only to make fun of the fact that there's a kid saying it. She said it one time in front of me.
That's
She's
about
7th grade.
that's about how it functions. That's its utility.
Oh,
You just say it for things. You kind of say it in like a suave way. It's kind of like skibbity. Back before like Stephen Colbert made like a parody of it. It's like you say things are skibbity, and it doesn't have a meaning. But if you're in on the joke, you're in on the joke.
okay. So
Yeah,
6'7" has no connotation at all.
probably does. It's probably like
Okay.
some sort of you're kind of like a sexy person, or like you're
Oh,
tall
okay.
because therefore you're like a high value
Oh, it's like
person.
a height.
Yeah, 6'7".
Huh. I
Like
hear
6
6
foot
foot, 7
7.
foot, 8 foot March.
Okay, wheezy head.
Excuse my charisma.
Excuse. Oh, God, you got me. You got me so good. You got me
I
with
can
the
do the
wheezy
whole verse.
quotes.
Oh, I'll never stop. Okay, so, but do you, okay, so when you said 6'7", then do you ever find yourself taking it out on your kids? That was the question.
Oh yeah. Yes, and I feel like I've done it recently.
Okay.
And like it usually comes out after a certain set of behaviors, or like a set of cataclysmic events. It's just like a fight breaks out, or
Oh,
um like someone says a slur or something, and like I really care about like my classroom being a safe place. And if it's not that, I want to show like I don't it's not performative necessarily. It's just
right.
like like it's important that I address that issue. Like these are people, and they're affected by these words or these actions. And it's like when I crash out, it's usually linked to those things. Um, or it's like residue, like it happened in the last class, and then like sometimes like a little thing will set me off in the next class. And I think one of the biggest things that I will always try and do is like give a kid an apology, be like, hey, like I'm so sorry that I took out this energy on you. You did not deserve it. I think it can be really powerful as a person in like authority to do that.
Mhm.
Uh, so yeah, I wouldn't say all the time, but like especially in those like cataclysmic, like especially the ones where it's like, okay, everyone out of the room, we gotta like make sure this space is like okay, or like someone is getting sent to the office, which I desperately
Wow.
try not to send kids to the office unless it's like I can't deal with this situation. And you're causing harm to people.
Wow.
Yeah.
Um, that was honestly a little bit of my experience in middle school too. It looked like that, where
Yeah.
I'm not gonna I've never had to deal with classroom management. It's never been a part of like the way that the schools that I've been at have been really required to. Like it always worked out there. And I went to middle school and it was like, this is constant.
Mm-hmm.
This sort of monitoring and this accountability and keeping them not just busy but engaged, and like it was so challenging. And
Yeah.
like I get that. And so I think, I mean, I haven't written a referral. I haven't sent a kid to the office at my new building. When I
Wow.
say new, I've worked there 8 years.
Wow.
um I don't think, and I mean, I know there's discipline things, but I feel like a lot of those are bigger than a classroom sort of thing, or a lot of them have to do with like, I don't know, some sort of thing that's a bit more of a legal infraction than like a, man, you're just being real rude in class, like it's a
Mhm.
harassment thing, like I think it's something bigger than just like you're disruptive in a classroom setting. I think that's what a lot of the behavior looks like in my building. So I haven't had to like deal with that. Back when I used to get frustrated, though, I would assign work as a punishment.
Mm.
And I am not proud of that. That's actually part of that post I made today. What I was thinking about that moment. I taught a summer school class. And at the summer school class, you had to teach these kids for 4 hours. It was not an online curriculum. It was not, you had 4 hours of class time, Monday through Friday, for 3 weeks for them to make up this English credit. And the kids that were in there were so uninterested and so not one kid just made like paper origami hats and he'd make hundreds of them, or they just wouldn't do anything that I was asking. And in their defense, I wouldn't have either. I was not engaging. I thought I misunderstood the assignment entirely.
Yeah.
And so I created this thing. Are you ready for the world's dumbest assignment? I called it the alphabet autobiography, where they took every letter of the alphabet and then they chose a word that represented them, and then they wrote a full 8-sentence, because like that's a paragraph, right? Wrote a full 8-sentence paragraph about it. Every single one of them. And if they didn't finish, then like they wouldn't get credit.
Yeah.
That's horrible in every way that is my fault.
Yeah.
Every single one. That was just an awful thing to have done. God. And I thought about that today for some reason. And I was like, I need to make a post about like, it's okay to be rude. Because in that moment I was like, yeah, that'll teach them to mess with me.
Yeah.
And it's like, no, it just taught them that teachers can waste their time whenever they want to. That's not power. That doesn't extend beyond my classroom. That like teachers can waste your time. That's what's going there. That isn't like other people will. Teachers.
And it's just reaffirming the narrative that they bought into. It's like, this is a waste of time. You're giving me things that don't matter.
And this looks a whole lot like the class I failed, because now I'm back failing again.
Yep.
So now I'm not good at school, right? Yep. Like, I don't know. There's a lot of kids, especially from my Arizona years, that probably deserve a refund.
They could probably join a large club of kids like that all over.
They could join a class action and they'd win.
They'd steal all your TikTok money that you've raised to give to charities and your special
just give it back to them. I mean, I think of one when we talk about, maybe the C should be for crashing out, because that's sort of like what happens after you're cooked, right? Is then we have to react to it. And I remember having this student who in like 2008 didn't do her final and she was failing. She had a 32%, and she came up and she went on vacation. And I was like, you gotta be shitting me. Like, your parents are taking you on vacation right now. Like, how dare you have a life outside of my classroom? And so couldn't believe it. And so she had this big project due. She knew it was due. And she had this 32, and I was like, nope, I won't take it late. And she's crying, like hysterical. She's a 9th grader. And she's so upset. And I'm like, I'm sticking to my guns. I'm teaching her a lesson, right? Because that's what we do. We teach them lessons about accountability and responsibility. Yeah. And she's like, finally she gets out, like, I emailed it to you. I'm like, it's 2008. You're lying to me right now. Like, can we not? And I don't think I said it like that, but I didn't believe her. I'm like, oh, okay. So I would just go check my email and it'd be there. She's like, I sent it. I sent it before I left. You know she sent that email, right? You know it was there. That project was completely done, and I just didn't see the email. It was fully there. She turned it in 2 weeks early before she went on this cruise, and it was good. It was so damn good, and I had it the whole time.
You're the worst.
I'm an asshole. I think about it. I made a post about it a couple of years. I think about it every time I want to assume that I know something. Like, let's just maybe think that I don't. Let's go into that thinking I don't. Her name was Stephanie, and I think about Stephanie all the time. And I apologized to her so much that day. I found her again I made that post about it, and then she saw it. And it was great, because I got to talk to her again. She's doing wonderful in life. And it's not because of the valuable lesson I taught her in 9th grade. Like,
that your bosses will ultimately have it out for you. That's the lesson she learned.
But like, what's the equivalent, right? We want to say all the time that school's like a job.
Yeah.
So what is the equivalent of that? That your boss says, actually, that money you earned, you didn't. Like, there's no takebacks.
I mean, man, yeah. I've probably had my fair share of those situations where I've royally fucked up and like didn't believe a kid. I also try and live with that. Maybe I could be wrong, or unless I see it like happen, I'm like, okay, I will give you, the chance to prove me wrong. I'll always, provide that, just habeas corpus. Is that the right one?
I think you're thinking that's blank slate. That's tabula rasa.
Oh, tabula rasa. Like
I'm
habeas
making shit up. I have no idea. I don't know.
Habeas corpus is like,
Oh, you're thinking of
where's the
Magna Carta.
body?
You're thinking of Magna Carta.
No, Magna Carta is the one that's. Are you shitting with? What are you?
Yeah, of course I am. I don't know.
We teach English, not Latin. E pluribus unum.
Magna Carta, Holy Grail. No, I agree. I don't. I'm just trying not to be an asshole, even for a moment, because you have to work yourself back from that. There was a few years ago, I think I gave feedback and I typed it, and I shouldn't have typed it. Because I meant what I said, but I don't think the tone of it landed. Because I was telling a student that like this paper that they wrote was really like complicated. And it didn't make any sense because it was complicated. Not because I didn't get it, but because it was like being too wordy. And so in my feedback, I said, it seems like you're really trying to write an AP paper instead of a paper that makes sense. And I think that got taken as like you're acting like an AP student, but you're not. And that was not even right. But because I read it, she left this feedback in one of these forums, and she was like so mad, resentful about it. And I would be too if that's what I had thought. I would have been pissed. Like, I'm surprised somebody didn't call me in to be like, because that's insulting if you read it that way. And I went through and I looked at the comment, and I know exactly how I read it. And I know exactly how she read it. And those are different things. And it was like, I need to not assume that my tone can even be translated in feedback. Like, that's not gonna work here. Oh, I don't know. Again, learning all the time. I thought I had it figured out by then, and then that student was so mad at me for so long. I had no idea. Like, man, I hate that. Ugh. All right, we have two interesting. I put these questions on here. I don't know if you saw them.
Yeah, I did. The one about
have you ever genuinely, maybe this is our clip. Are we ready? Mikey, have you ever genuinely thought about quitting the profession of teaching?
Oh man. Is this live?
I didn't expect that.
Oh man. I don't think so.
Okay.
Like, I've always said I could never find myself in a job like a 9 to 5 working in an office cubicle. Like, I did that in high school. During some summers, I was working in an IT job, and I hated it. Like, I'm like, this place makes me like it feels so stale and dead, and like I could just not. I would lose myself in it, like not in a good way, not in like a flow state, mastering my craft kind of thing, but like in a sense of like I don't know who I would be without this job in education. Maybe like taking a break and like traveling or something, but genuinely quitting, I don't think I've ever thought about that. Maybe when like in the initial thoughts of like getting divorced, it was like huge because I was like, okay, maybe I just need to like switch up my whole life around kind of deal. But like ultimately, I feel like I was kind of brought back to it. It's like I feel purpose and I'm good at this, and I know my identity in this, which can be a dangerous place, especially posting online where that can one misread comment or one mismade video, one slip up of words can be taken and used against you. But yeah, I think that's where I'm at.
But look, I maintain fully that if you love teaching, I don't think anybody else loves their job more than a teacher who loves teaching.
Mm-hmm.
Like, because you have this audience of people that are also pumped to be there too. And so, like, then my point of comparison goes to, like, well, you think of athletes on a big stage, but like, that's not nearly as like intimate of a setting when you have tens of thousands of people there versus like a classroom of 25. And you said flow state, and I love that. Like, the moments, I love teaching so much, and I'm like, I don't know that there's anybody else doing anything that makes them happier than this thing that I'm doing right now.
Yeah.
Like, I really feel I can measure my value too. Like, I can look at it and I can like engage with it. This is a thing that is clear to me because my answer is yes. I have absolutely thought of quitting after my 1 year of middle school. If I would not have gotten a job at high school, I would have. And I know my name's Jake, so I swear to fuck, don't even do it. But I fully applied at State Farm. And I and like I wish I hadn't because I hate that part of this story. But that was it. I was ready to I've never worked in that setting ever in my life. I was ready. I would go to a cubicle because I felt, not because I couldn't handle middle school, because I felt so unsuccessful. Like I felt like I wasn't doing any of the things that I thought were valuable and that I found value in as a high school teacher, that I found worth and merit in. I went from being what I thought to be a really successful high school teacher. My students thought I was very successful too, to being a very mid to low tier,
like a shell of
middle
yourself.
school teacher. Yeah. I felt like I was playing pretend. And so I couldn't do that again. Luckily, I got a job at a high school and was able to move there and like now upward trajectory since. But I was close. I don't know. So what do we do? And I feel like this is going to be a conversation we've had before, we're having right now, and we'll have it again. What do we quit the internet on Saturday if TikTok goes away?
Dude, oh my God, I would love to.
Really?
I don't know.
You're okay. Can we? Oh, if anybody's been listening to us for an hour, they deserve to hear this conversation. You've been in a rut.
Oh yeah.
And like, is that part of it? Is that what we're talking about here?
Yeah.
Because I've been there too.
And there's like, it's like very multi-dimensional. Like it goes into, falling out with my wife. It goes into like not getting paid enough. It goes into like, it goes into a lot of things. It goes into not being able to process, like we talked about, the freaking 99 plus like notification. And like, maybe people weren't just meant to process that kind of dopamine rush. And it's just like, I do not have the right Zen practices to be mindful in those moments. But yeah, like I see, part of me hears this, and part of me back in January was like, oh man, it might be sweet just to cut this noise out of my life. And I know I could do it. Like, I know I could just delete the app off my phone and just never have it again. Mm-hmm. But it's also like, there's also this hope that I make something out of this, because it feels like I'm kind of, and maybe this is the trick of the app. It's like I'm like kind of leeching off of the blood of success. Like, I'm just like right there. I'm not able to like be attached to it, but I'm like grasping at it almost. I don't know if that metaphor is like hitting.
It is, but I think something about this app, and and again, you have a lot more clout on here than I do, and I mean that as a compliment. What I'm saying is, it absolutely is true, but it's with that there. I don't know how I want to say this. It's cool to be really popular measurably in a space. That's cool. And that's a hard feeling to want to let go of, I think, even because you just listed a laundry list of stuff that would make people make a ton of changes. And I don't think the internet is necessarily a catalyst for that thing. I just think it's something that can go away if we're trying to focus elsewhere, right? Like, it didn't do this, but it could be set aside while we focus on like kind of focusing on these other things. But it's hard to let go of. I get pissed when I get in a slump on this app. It makes me mad.
Yeah.
Like, in a way that nothing else has made me, not more mad, a different kind of mad. Like, no, this is good. I know this is good. You and your 400 views aren't going to gaslight me into thinking this is of low quality. I know it's not. And I'm like,
I wish
this is
I
me. This is my face. It's
Dude.
my face. You're telling me my face.
Man,
Oh, that makes me mad.
how have you gone through such good processing of this all? Like, I texted you this week, and it was
Yeah.
like, hey, I am sad because I feel like my videos aren't hitting. And, like, if I just scroll down a little bit, I see the 2.4 million view has gone up to 2.6 million views since that
And you didn't
conversation.
even notice.
I haven't even noticed because I'm like, I'm a piece of shit. Like, all of my other videos are under 500 views, and I'm like, there's nothing good that I can do. I am the worst creator. No wonder I haven't made it to Los Angeles. No wonder brands don't reach out to me like I think they should, even though a brand has reached out to me recently, and I'm like in talks about that and blah 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 blah. And I'm like, I'm not meant
I
to.
swear to God. And so what you just expressed is something I've never said out loud because you were basically the only person I could say this to. But I've in my head for don't dare say this out loud. For the last year, I've been saying you're only as good as your top row.
Oh, like the
Like,
most popular views, or
your last three posts. I'm only as good as I'm only as good as my top row. And I've been thinking about that. And like, man, when I have two or three hits, I'm like,
That's the realest shit I've ever heard.
I'm only as good as my top row. I fucking swear. And it's so shallow. And I'm like, I have to clean this top row up. I think about it all the time. Like, I need a banger. Like, because then if I have one, it buys me two more until I have to fix my top row.
Yes. Oh my god, that is it. Okay, I feel like I didn't emphasize this enough. When I said I went from like 2.4 million views to 2.6 million views, it's like that's 200,000 views. But
It's so many.
It's below the top 3 videos that I see every time I open my app, and I'm like,
yep.
I am so ADHD or whatever. Maybe I just have no concept of object permanence, whatever. I'm like, I suck. This is the end of it for me.
I think about it all the time. If I don't at least have a K in my top row, right? I need a K. I hate 4 digits. I need a K. And once I have that, that's when I'm like, okay, I can breathe for a sec. Like,
oh man,
I need to see the K. I need it because I get so pissed without a K.
Better watch out. We're not talking about ketamine, guys.
No, we're talking about kilos.
I mean, technically, yes.
We're talking about
1,000 views. Stop.
I don't know. That's how I think of it. That makes a difference to me. And so the idea of losing that, like, I remember I remember where I was at when TikTok got banned. I was at a University of Northern Colorado basketball game. I took my kids. Tickets were like $15, and it's just up in Greeley. And so my wife and we went with some buddies of ours, and we were in there. And my daughter Pepper's like, "Dad, they did it." And I go, "What?" And she shows me her phone and has that like notification. I go, "No way." And so I was still in mine. So I immediately recorded like a basketball game or something and tried to fire off a post that was like, I might be the last one still on this app. And I tried to post it and it didn't go through because I got the notification. It was like, oh, I thought I got the last post. Even though, everybody in the world still could, except us. But I felt gross. I didn't like. It was nice. I remember walking outside and being like, "Now I don't have TikTok." Like, all right, we can focus on other stuff. But it's like I focused on other stuff just fine. I read plenty of books and like spend time with my family and do all sorts of other things.
Yeah.
Like I wasn't actually really spending all that much time on here. Now that I think of it, so now I'm just sad. I would really like that back because it was cool to be measurably popular. That is a nice feeling. I don't care if it's shallow. I don't think it is though. I think it's just unique and it makes me feel uncommon.
Mm-hmm.
And I like that.
And that's okay.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, it better be. I feel like it's okay whether it is or not, so that we're just going to run with that.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, hey, we need to be able to identify ways that we are valuable, and like sometimes those are real numbers, you know.
Yeah.
And I don't think that's a bad thing. I don't think that's a shallow, or maybe it is a shallow thing, but yeah, like I said, it's not. I don't think it's a bad thing. Like like I feel like if I was talking to my therapist or whatever, or I'm talking to you, and you're like you're making videos that are hitting, like
Yeah.
you're making good videos. It's like people are in your comment sections, even though it's making under 500 views. It's
Right.
like yeah, but then opening up the analytics of it all and seeing, no, I'm still getting point number of a million views. It's like
Yeah.
I can contextualize that in my life and be like, no, I'm like making something that I could write on a resume later and be like, I know how to get 100,000 views on something.
I never sacrificed my like character for views, right? I never was like, all right, I need a banger. What can I like? I need to exploit something. I need to say something because I don't. It's not like I'm hiding the negative things that I feel. I just don't really feel a whole lot of them. And like any space where that negativity needs to be voiced isn't the fucking internet. It's two individuals, or like I need to talk through these ideas with, like, I don't know, my wife of 20 years. Like these are like I need to have these conversations in a place that isn't like on the damn internet. That's not where I'm going to voice my grievances. Like I think it's okay to take a stance and like create a conversation. That's one thing, but it's not going to be like, in Mr. Rupp's room today, can you believe what this kid did? No, we're not. That's different. That's not
Guys,
therapeutic. That's not therapeutic. That's bitching.
it, and not in the good way. Like when you're like,
Right. Not like a
damn, that's
Camaro.
bitch. Yeah.
Not like an IROC. So you had this thing on here, like, and I think this is going to be a really nice conclusion. I don't have. You put cooked in the comment section.
Yeah. Have you ever been cooked in your own comment section?
What one? Here's what I'm going to bring it back to you because I got a couple. Or it could be in your classroom, really. What ones do you remember? Like,
Okay.
without even going back through and documenting it, I know I have a couple.
Yeah.
Where I don't even know that they're even necessarily all insulting, but I'm like angered by how astute they are.
I get all the time that I look like Alan Tudyk.
You're going to put him up on the screen right now, right, Alan?
He's on the screen right now.
Okay.
He a Tudyk.
I love Resident Alien.
Yeah, it's so good, right?
I love Resident. My wife and I watched Resident. That's great. As somebody who's seen that guy on my TV a lot, never would have had that one. Maybe I'm just bad at this.
I don't get it. I don't get it. There's that. There is the latest video that I made. I get told I'm Blake Shelton or Luke. Is it Luke Bryan?
Oh, I could maybe because you have a hat on. I could maybe see Luke Bryan. Maybe not Blake Shelton though.
Hey,
I feel like people are just being like, "Hey,
you're white guy.
You're white."
There's those ones, and again, these aren't. We're gonna get to the roasted part, and it's right here. Ricky from the Trailer Park Boys. I think it's Ricky. I never saw Trailer Park Boys, but then people said it.
Oh, okay. So if you made your sideburns a little bit sharp, you could pull this one off. If you had those chops with a straight edge.
Yeah, we could make that happen.
Yep.
I almost did go chops recently. That would be so sick, actually. And then
I thought about stuff like that, but if I shaved, my kids wouldn't recognize me. They've never seen me without a beard.
What? That's such a weird thing, man.
I never saw my dad without a beard ever in my whole life.
I've just now recently saw my dad with a beard.
Oh, with one?
Yeah, because he was like all corporate, like growing up, and he had to be clean shaven, suit wearing every day, and he started growing out a beard, and I'm like, who are you, you weird wild man?
That's wild.
Yeah.
where's the roasting? So what are the insults that you have received?
Uh, roasting. Search up. And you said you don't see this in me, but everyone else nearly does. And also, I like curate this video so that I
Okay.
don't see it. Look up little bits from Rick and Morty.
What? Little
Little
bit?
Lil Bits, like Lil Wayne.
Okay, little bit. Okay. Oh, little bits. Okay. That's so mean.
I know, and I just have smaller facial features. Maybe you can't tell from this video, but literally go on any of my TikToks and it's just like everything's really tight and close together. I don't know why. It's just the way God created me,
That's
and
like
I'm beautiful.
that is one of the funniest looking characters I think I've ever seen in anything.
But
Like just as a character, like without ever knowing that character's personality, without knowing anything about him, that is such a good image. Um, I when I one of the first time I went viral, aside from people just like saying insulting things, like not roasting me, like just being cruel, right? There was a guy that commented as I was just at 99 plus permanently, right? Like I probably only saw a fraction of those comments. But at one point, the top one was like, "You look like a when you look like white Tyler Perry."
what does
What?
that mean?
What? And then the first picture of Tyler Perry that came up, and I was like, if I take off my oh, like I looked exactly like him without my like a white Tyler Perry. Like, damn it. I wore a red shirt with some tan Levi's, and a kid told me I looked like Winnie the Pooh. And like, really think about what that means in terms of your like body structure.
Oh
Like,
no! Come on!
yeah. And I was like, oh bother.
Oh bother! No.
Oh, I got rocked. Um, Daniel Aguilera in 2009. No, that would have been 2010. In 2010, Daniel Aguilera said, "I need a haircut because I look like a dirty tennis ball." And he said it in front of like, and he said it in front of the whole class. And he wasn't even like he said it in a way because we got along great. He said it in a way that was so observational that it made it even more cutting because he wasn't trying to destroy me. He just did, and I think about it every like I signed up for a haircut today because I said out loud I look like a dirty tennis ball. I need to go get my haircut because Daniel Aguilera rocked me like 14 years ago. But students, for the most part, don't really do it much. I feel like.
Yeah, no, I don't think. No.
That's what I don't get, and I don't get. I think I tried to do that when I was young and insecure because honestly, these kids weren't that far from my own age, and so it's not like I was trying to be buddy buddy with them or like anything like that. But I think my way of communicating with people that was close to my age was maybe not in tune with where it is now, where I am a teacher and roughly the age of their parents, right? Like I was just so young, and so I don't think the way that like roasting culture felt right in that moment. I don't know how cutting it really was because I think while I was their teacher, I think if we went another avenue, I was closer to the resemblance of an older brother than like a paternal figure, right? Like if those are the avenues perhaps where we have familiarity, I was not at the space I am now. And so maybe I have to hope that it didn't come off as cutting because that obviously wasn't the intent and they would dish it back and it was lighthearted and I don't remember any of it. But God, I hope they don't either. Because that one kind of bugs me. I hate that roasting. I hate it.
Yeah. Yeah, because you just never know what's going to stick around in someone's head. Like you said, Daniel Aguilera.
Daniel Aguilera.
Aguilera.
Nice he's on Instagram. He's a nice guy. Yeah, there's that. Oh God. But you see the ones where like people are clowning on kids' grades. And like you read the comments where it's like, what do you say if a student says your class is boring? And then you read the comments and it's like, you say that shit? You say to a kid that like come talk to me when your grade's as high as the temperature on the thermostat, and then you walk away from that and you're like, got him, got him. You should have got them. They're 15.
Yeah, they're
They can't
13.
operate.
Yeah.
They can't operate an automobile independently. Yeah, you showed them. Take that. You should. You know what? You should tell people about that on the internet. You should be proud as hell. Like, God, I hate that. So that's the thing where we talk about cooking them. I'm anti that, and
Anti-cooking.
that's just, I don't take a lot of stances. That's one I'll take. I hate that.
Yeah, I think that's very fair. I think there's a bit of room for, I don't know what, how do I want to do this? I think there's like a room for jest and like open communication
Yes.
and joking with students, but it's got to be on an equal playing field. Never about looks or grades or ability. It's always like maybe they're wearing something silly, or maybe they but it's I like my rule of comedy, and I'm not like a comedian or anything. It's
Right.
just like what I find funny is when people punch up, you know, and a 13-year-old is always below me. It's always like whatever topic we're talking about, it's usually, you are below the belt. You are like whatever skill you have. Like I can't make fun of, or else I just look like a bully.
Well, because you'd be being you
Oh,
you would be a bully,
that's what that
and
is.
that's what I don't get about like these posts and the celebration that's going on in them. And again, there's always this like, well, real teachers know how right this is. Dude, no, I don't know. Those comment sections will a lot of times become their own entity. And sometimes I then wonder if like a different dozen people had commented first, how completely different this whole experience would be based on the things that are being said here. Because like, I don't know, but the insulting of children, like, I want you, if you think that's okay, then you should write an email to their parents and you should say, hey, guess what I said to your kid today? Like,
I mean, you essentially are by posting it online.
I can't think of how many times, I don't know, especially now that my own kids are older, but like the amount of times I remind myself, not because I forget, but I just say it a lot, like that's somebody's kid, so. And like, then I go from there. That is somebody's child, so. And like,
don't cook them.
So a number of things. Well, one of them is like, I don't know, don't insult their intelligence, like in a deliberate, literal, public way. God.
Yeah.
I don't know. That is how cooked I am. It was nice to talk about those things, if I'm being honest. That's why I look forward to this every week. Because this has been a long week for so many reasons.
I'm glad that you could vent that out. Yeah, I don't think I even told you. Maybe I did, but like today and tomorrow, I'm doing this like recruitment thing. For our
you
school.
mentioned it, but I didn't get the full picture. So give me the picture. What are you doing this week?
So, oh man, I live in the boondocks. Like I live like super far out, and the nearest big cities or big universities are an hour and a half away anyway, north, south, east, west. So like we are driving out to those places and setting up a booth and talking to people, and it's just like at least I don't like have to do it and do school at the same time, and I can kind of take a break from that kind of exhaustion, but it's like a whole different beast. But it's kind of nice just to kind of banter with adults for a while.
And do you? I feel like you were on my FYP long before we talked, long before I ever made content. I saw your videos. Like I very much did. You were a very recognizable figure in my like internet experience. Do people ever recognize you at these things ever? Does that ever happen to you? I feel like there has to be some sense of recognition because you were a teacher and one that gets a good amount of traction, even if your top row doesn't say so right now.
Yeah, not in like teacher environments, but one of my estranged cousins sends me a Facebook message the other day. He's like, "Hey, dude, you were on my fiance's For You page, and she showed it to me. I'm like, oh, that's my cousin. And I was like, dude, we should get lunch. I'd love to meet him.
Isn't that wild? Like, I'll get still. I get that's the nice part is like I do like it when people see my TikToks on the space where they're designed, which is like TikTok, and then they can talk about it with me on TikTok. Did I tell you about the woman that grabbed my ass?
No. Was it your wife?
No, among them. But no, this was a stranger at the grocery store. And my daughters were little. I mean, like little, like it was a couple years ago.
Yeah.
But they're like shopping for stuff in the aisle. And this woman walks up behind me and she whispers, she goes, I follow you. And then she gives me an attaboy.
What?
And then she walks by and she's like hitting me with one of these. Oh, I don't know. People might be listening. So she like looked over her shoulder at me as she walked away. That's the story.
Okay, well, obviously you didn't.
She saw me at the grocery store. She said, I follow you. She grabbed a handful of my ass and then walked away looking at me while my kids are like getting barbecue chips off the aisle.
You can't say these things because they're going to go in the cold open of the video.
Do it. That's where they should go. If that's fine. It was surreal. Nothing like that's happened before. It hasn't happened after. There's people that like I bowl with that I think have recognized, like they see me on. I don't think people have seen me on TikTok and then seen me in real life and been like, I saw you on TikTok. Yeah. I think people who know, like, I recognize that guy, and then they go to bowling and they're like, that's where he's from.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, he's my kid's teacher. That's where he's from. Huh. You know, like, I don't think anybody watches my videos enough that when they then see me a second time in real life, it's like, oh, the internet guy. Like, no, I don't think that's happening.
There is a Comic-Con happening an hour away from me, and I'm thinking about, I've been like debating on emailing the representatives and being like, hey, I have followers on TikTok, maybe I can set up a booth or something.
Dude, just to get tickets in, I mean, oh my God. It's not free to go to, is it? You have to like pay to get in there, don't you?
Oh yeah, you gotta pay, but I also like, you know, I've been throwing around the idea of like doing a cosplay and like getting into that whole scene. So
what would you do? That whole thing fascinates me. I am not a part of that world at all. Like Snorlax?
Okay, whoa, chill out. Swolax.
Yeah, no, or maybe like a Munchlax.
No, there's a couple of like anime characters that I'm like, oh, I would love to do. I'll throw them up on screen.
Please do.
Or send them to you. I don't know. Rupp, this podcast is going longer and longer, and the last one was 1 hour and 30 minutes, and this one is 1 hour and 30 minutes. We've got to find.
Well, then we're going to get out of here. I just want you to know that if you want to do an anime cosplay, I'll go with you, and I'll do an Al Borland cosplay.
Who is Al Borland? Maybe I should just do the Little Bits guy.
You do the Little Bits guy, and I'll be Al Borland from Home Improvement, the 90s sitcom.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Al. Okay, yeah, you're Al.
I don't think so, Tim.
Golly, he took some sexy-ass photos.
90s hot, man.
Dude, why is he holding the sledgehammer like that?
Mm-hmm.
So seductively. Yep. What is he leaning on here?
Doesn't matter, man. Al Borland, see? I would tear down a Comic-Con.
Golly. Yes, you would. And it would be such an easy cosplay. It's just
you act like I haven't thought about it, but I have. I didn't just come up with that.
That's so sweet.
I've got Al Borland. Richard Kern is his name. I've had him on deck.
That's so cool. He could build my deck. Golly.
Hey-oh. Woo! Next week, C is for... What do we have? We had a good one. We had Crash Out, but that kind of was an extension of this one. The C, it wasn't Catharsis. The C was for...
Curriculum.
Curriculum. I can't wait. Okay. You're amazing.
All right. You're amazing, too. Keep up the good work. Bye. Thanks for watching the Type C Teachers podcast. We really appreciate you being here and listening to us talk all about these kinds of things. We're going to have another episode next week, so make sure you subscribe and be here for when that comes out. So, see you guys later.